It's the Mixed Martial Arts Hour with
the Mixed Martial Arts Hour back in your life on this Monday, February 27, 2017. Hello again, everyone. I'm Mario Helwani back inside our New York City studio. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. I had a lovely one. It was my son's third birthday yesterday. You know, I love a good kid's birthday party, and I pull out all the stops. So I had a great day yesterday. It was a relatively quiet weekend in the world of MMA, which doesn't bother me all that much. Of course, it's going to get very busy this weekend, but it was a very nice weekend here in the tri-state area. The weather was fantastic. So much to be happy about, so much to be thankful for, and I'm very excited about today's show. In fact, one of the highlights of my weekend was I was walking in around Midtown Manhattan on Saturday. I met a young man named Jose, I believe his name was, a budding actor here in New York City, stopped me on the street, and I got to tell you, it was one of the best encounters with a fan that I've had in recent memory. He was just so appreciative of the show and had so many nice things to say, including, you know, very nice things to say about Mr. New York Rick's hair, which was quite the surprise, but just talking about, you know, how much he enjoys the show, listens to it all week long, and then come Saturday when he's done, he's very excited. He's very excited for Monday's show. He's kind of jonesing for it and things like that. So it was just very nice. And I always tell people like that, it actually means more to me when I meet someone like that who appreciates the show and enjoys the show and loves listening to the show than it probably does, you know, for them meeting me. It really does. It means the world. So thank you to Jose. Thank you to everyone who tunes in each and every week. And we're excited to kick off this particular week because it's a big one in the world of MMA, right? I mean, we've got Bellator on Friday. We've got UFC 209 on Saturday, and 209 is one of the best cards of 2017. I know it's early, but thus far things have been a little thin as far as cards are concerned. This is a very good one. This is one that is worth our attention. Obviously, the 209 card is better than the Bellator card, but Bellator is making its own history on Friday night as well. 209 features Tyron Woodley versus Stephen Wonderboy Thompson 2 for the welterweight title. And then in the co-main event, the people's main event, the return of the people's main event, Khabib Nurmagomedov versus Tony Ferguson, interim lightweight title fight. Okay, let me run down today's lineup and get to our first guest of the day, who is going to join us hopefully from the airport. At around 3:30, we're going to talk to Holly Holm, her first interview since UFC 208. Talk to her about what's next, the appeal, all that good stuff. You've been following the story. 3:10, we're going to talk to Artem Lobov about his fight against Cub Swanson, April 22nd. In Nashville. We thought it was going to be the main event. It's not looking like it's going to be the main event. We'll talk to him about how he got the fight, why he wanted the fight, his placement on the card, all that stuff. 2:45, we're going to be joined by Greg Hardy. If you're not familiar with Greg Hardy, you may want to look him up. To say he's a controversial former NFL player would probably be putting it mildly, but you may have heard that he's transitioning to mixed martial arts, and he's now training at ATT. And I want to talk to him about that. Why is he doing this? What's his interest in MMA? When's he going to debut? Is he going to play football at the same time? What's going on with Greg Hardy? So I'm looking forward to that. 2:25, we'll talk to Derek Lewis coming off that big win over Travis Brown in Halifax last Sunday. So many people asked for him. It was amazing. An insane amount of requests for Derek Lewis. He's very popular. 2:05, we'll talk to Johnny Hendricks about his win in Halifax, middleweight debut. 1:45, we'll talk to Marloes Kunin, who will be fighting Friday night, Bellator 174 against Julia Budd for the inaugural Bellator women's featherweight title. So now we've got our third featherweight title in a major promotion. Invicta has Cyborg / Megan Anderson, although I don't think Cyborg is going to defend that title anytime soon. We've got the UFC and Jermaine Durandamy, and finally Bellator, who actually had plans to introduce the women's featherweight title long before the UFC did back in early February here in Brooklyn. They're finally doing it on Friday in Thackerville. Marloes Kunin hasn't fought in around 10 months. Longtime veteran, Strikeforce champion. We'll talk to her about that. 125, we're going to talk to Filthy Tom Lawler. he got some unfortunate news, but I think he was expecting it late last week. He was expecting to find out from USADA that he has been suspended for 2 years due to a failed out-of-competition drug test. We'll talk to him about this and so much more. In fact, he wrestled in a professional wrestling, indie scene wrestling match on Friday in Las Vegas. So is that his ticket out of MMA now that he's going to be on the sidelines for 2 years? We shall find out from Filthy Tom Lawler. Unfortunate for him, but this is the era that we now live in. Last week we found out that John Vellante received a retroactive TUE from USADA. That announcement was made after his whole process played out. A little bit of a different situation from Cyborg. So it seemed like for a while, USADA was kind of flying under the radar. Last week, they were very much in the news. And we'll get to that later in the show. But in a matter of seconds, we are going to be joined by Khabib Nurmagomedov. Khabib Nurmagomedov is flying right now from Las Vegas to LA. He's doing a media day. He is kicking it off with us. And we're lucky in that sense because his flight was delayed. And that's why we're jumping the queue here. So we're going to grab him at the airport as he's about to board a flight to Los Angeles. Of course, this is a massive week for him. Finally, after all these years, he's getting a chance to realize his dream of fighting for a UFC title. And now we're being told that he's in the restroom. It's been a fun start to the week, fun start to the show, and he needs a couple more minutes. I could certainly appreciate that and sympathize with that. So what a roller coaster ride it has been for Khabib Nurmagomedov. Of course, undefeated, not only in the UFC, but in his mixed martial arts career. 24-0. Returned back in April after a very long layoff against Darrell Horcher. This is, in fact, the third time that he's been scheduled to fight Tony Ferguson, and this is why I think everyone is kind of like, put them in, bubble wrap, lock them away, let's not get injured in the next 5 days. Ended up fighting Darrell Horcher, as you may recall, in Tampa, beat him rather convincingly, and then fought Michael Johnson after the whole hullabaloo with Eddie Alvarez and the contracts and all that stuff back in New York, and had his little back and forth with Dana White in the middle of the fight saying that he wanted the belt. Went through a whole saga with Ferguson trying to get this fight made, Ferguson asking for equal pay, et cetera, et cetera. We are finally here, and for a guy who has dealt with his fair share of injuries, it's a nice story that he's finally getting a chance to at least fight for a UFC belt, albeit an interim one. Although I think that Ferguson and Khabib have done a very good job of selling this interim title as the real one, which is what they have to do, which is what Conor did when he fought Chad Mendes and beat Chad Mendes. You just kind of have to put over the belt that you won. You kind of have to pretend like, all right, this is the real belt. And thus, I think the people start to get behind it as well. And they certainly stole the show. Whatever buy rate this card does, and I'm not really quite sure because, I think a lot of people skipped 208. And then prior to that, the last pay-per-view was the Ronda show, December 30th. So it's been a while, I think, since people have invested money in a UFC pay-per-view, and this card certainly warrants it when you also consider Overeem Hunt on the card, the middleweight debut of Rashad Evans, Lando Venata fighting on the pay-per-view card. This one deserves it, no doubt about it. But have they done a good enough job of letting people know that it's happening? And let's not speak of that poster. Every time I see that poster, I still can't believe that that's the actual poster that we're going with. I mean, the posters have become very formulaic. They become, really just, take one guy out, put another person in, and that's it. I mean, there's no thought put in. But this one in particular, it's like they're not even zoomed in. There's a lot of extra black space. They look very small. The whole thing is just very bizarre when it comes to that poster. But hey, people, I guess, aren't buying. I'm a stickler for that sort of thing. I love a good fight poster. This is how, to a degree, we remember cards. Some famous posters like the Nick Diaz GSP one. There have been some really good ones back in the day, but this one, in my opinion, correct me if I'm wrong, takes the cake as far as the worst posters in UFC pay-per-view history. And it's unfortunate because this is a great card. I love this card. This is a really fun card. And on Thursday's conference call, Khabib and Ferguson stole the show. The back and forth, if you haven't heard it, and if you're kind of on the fence about this card, you need to do yourself a favor and go check out this conference call. It was amazing just listening to them go back and forth. And yes, they weren't saying much. I mean, we could kind of recap it in 2 minutes, but just, when you get that magic, when the guys kind of ignore the reporters on the call and just keep going back and forth. And Khabib is talking to him in a very slow and say, like, listen to me. I want to tell you something. I'm the reason why you got this fight. And then Ferguson, who's completely dismissing him. It was just a lot of fun and kind of made me feel like we should be getting a press conference. We're not getting a press conference as far as these two are concerned. There's going to be an open workout on Wednesday and then an ultimate media day sort of thing on Thursday, but we're not going to get them on a stage and then facing off. And I feel like when I'm all in favor of skipping the press conferences if you just have your sort of run-of-the-mill event, especially when you don't have fighters who are going to talk to each other a lot and interact and there are going to be fireworks and something's going to happen that's going to get people excited. But in this case, I think this is one of those rare cases where the press conference actually helps the pay-per-view a lot more than not doing it, because you would have gotten them going back and forth even more. They can't stand each other. They have a good dynamic. They like to argue with each other. And then I'm assuming the face-off would be very entertaining as well. But that is not happening. Still, the back and forth has been very fun. So yeah, hopefully he finishes up in the bathroom any minute now, and we'll get Mr. Nurmagomedov. It is interesting that Woodley and Wonderboy are in the spotlight again, because we were all assuming that Damian Maia was going to fight the winner of that fight. He was supposed to fight the winner of that fight after the New York event. And then, of course, Wonderboy and Woodley fought to a draw, and Maia waited. And now he's in the news about getting a fight 5 days before that fight is about to go down. Very bizarre situation. But let me put Maia on ice, because we do have Khabib on the phone right now, I do believe. Khabib, are you there?
Hey, how are you, Ariel?
Salam alaikum, Khabib.
Wa alaikum salam, Ariel. How are you?
I'm doing great. What's going on over there? Some flight problems, delays? What's happening?
Yes, we sit down almost 3 hours in airport, flight. They I don't know, I don't understand. I think they cancel flight, something like this.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, and I'm hoping that it's not too stressful, but I do appreciate you squeezing us in the midst of all of this. Thank you very much, Khabib. Let me ask you this, since we're talking about flights. There's a report that's out there that your father is not allowed to enter the country, that his visa was denied. Is that true?
He had before visa, now he have a little bit problem. They cancel his visa, but I don't understand why, but a little bit problem. He have a little bit problem about visa.
When did you find out about this?
Before my last fight, when I fight with Michael Johnson, we try to make visa. It is old news, but this now is becomes new.
Yeah.
When I fight in USA, when I fight in Science 2012, when I fight in UFC, he never can come and support me because he had problem with visa. One time UFC give him, and USA give him visa, and he fight when my brother Islam fighting. And when UFC gave me fight with Darryl Horcher, 1 year ago, when he tried to come to America, they canceled his visa.
Wow, and for you, I mean, so this isn't the first time, but does it mess with you? Do you feel uncomfortable without him being there, especially biggest fight of your career?
No. I'm fighting 8 times without my father. It's okay.
Okay.
He supports me. I know he pray for me. He with me all the time. He with my heart. I think about him. We talk with him every day. Every day we talk about my weight. We talk about my my plan, my everything. My father with me all the time.
Right. Okay. Well, that is good to hear. And it's good that you're not too, torn up about the whole situation. On Thursday, as I was talking about at the top of the show, it was a very entertaining conference call. Did you enjoy that? Did you enjoy that sort of back and forth with Tony as opposed to a fight like a Darrell Horcher fight? There's no beef there. It's just kind of another fight. This one, there's a fun sort of dynamic. Did you enjoy that?
For me, it's fun. I enjoy about this. For me, it's fun. I feel Tony is a little bit nervous, but like all my opponents. But for me, it's fun. I enjoy about this. I talk with him. Enjoy a little bit. Try joke with him, make him nervous.
Why do you think he's nervous? What about what he's saying or doing makes you think that he's a little nervous for the fight?
And how he talk, I feel this. How he talk, and now everything is finished. Talk finished, everything finished. We're here. We're in Vegas, 5 days before fight week. I can't wait when cage closes. And March 4, this is gonna be a people main event, and this is number one exciting fight in this fight card. I think this is truly main event fight, and it's very interesting fight for me, for him, for everybody who's gonna watch.
So do you agree with him when he says that this should have been the main event? He said that on the conference call.
Yes, I agree. Everybody agree with him. Not only with him, everybody agree about this. This is, lot of people gonna watch this fight. My fan base is huge. And this is very big fight. In my opinion, this is greatest lightweight fight ever in UFC.
One thing that you kept saying on the call was like, hey, look, I'm the one who made this fight. You should be thanking me. Forget about the money that you offered. But, you were offered Aldo. There were other situations when they were frustrated with him. And you said to the UFC you wanted the Ferguson fight. Do you feel like he is not appreciative enough of what you did? Is that why you kept bringing it up to him on the call?
I don't care about him appreciate or no. I just want to let him know who made this fight. Because, UFC gonna make, I fight with Chiesa, I fight with Aldo, with other guys, because he don't take this fight, but I say, hey, no, I have to fight with him, and I'm waiting for him. And, you have to say thank you about this, because if I take with Aldo fight interim title, or with Michael Chiesa, or with other guys, what he gonna do? Now he sit down in his home, and don't fight for the title. Because I'm waiting, because I speak with the UFC, my manager, I speak with my manager, my manager, I say, hey, I won't fight with Tony Ferguson because this is toughest matchup today for me.
Speaking of appreciating, a couple of weeks ago you were in Brooklyn, in Brighton Beach, and they had that media day for you. I was very excited to be there. I thought it was a very cool idea. They don't do this often, and it seemed like they're trying to push you. But correct me if I'm wrong, it felt like you were not very happy being there. You didn't like it. It was more of a nuisance to go out of your way and do it. Did you not enjoy that?
Oh, I enjoy about this. Why not? You used to make this first time, without weigh-in. They make this for me.
Yeah.
No, but I don't like because you don't too much promote this Q&A. But when this happening, when I see how many people come, when I see how many lot of media coming, I understand. Now you're gonna try and make my name big because they understand who's gonna become UFC lightweight, undefeated champion. Now I understand. Now I feel a little bit different, than when I was in Brooklyn, because little bit different attention.
Oh, you're feeling the love.
Yes, I feeling. I love this. Now I'm here. Now I focus in my fight. I don't think about this too much, but I know after this fight, my life is gonna change.
Right. And you've talked about dealing with the fame and people recognizing you. If you become a champion, it's clear your life is going to change. Are you worried about that? Are you kind of dreading that aspect that comes along with winning a belt?
To be honest, I worry about famous. To be honest with you, of course I want a belt, but I understand with belts coming like crazy attention. Like, to be honest, I worry about this because I like when people don't know me. I like like when all the time people's coming, like talk about fights, all the time talk about MMA, I can talk with people like another stuff, not only MMA, but sometimes I'm tired about this. But I understand, this is like, MMA is like crazy now. Like, this is not like 5 years ago, like 10 years ago. Now MMA is one of the biggest sports in the world, and I think after this fight, it's gonna change a lot of stuff.
In a way, do you prefer living or do you enjoy living in San Jose more than back home in Russia because less people recognize you there?
Of course, I love Dagestan when I'm living, but in San Jose, I feel a little bit relaxing because not too many people come. But my family, like my everybody, like very close people living in Dagestan. That's why I all the time wanna go back to the Dagestan. And it's different. San Jose different. I feel in Dagestan. I feel different, but for living, I wanna live all my life in Dagestan. Dagestan for me is everything. Dagestan give me like everything. My father born here, like my grandfather, everybody, and I'm from here, Dagestan. Dagestan. I learn here like a lot, like about mental, about physical, about like everything, That's why Dagestan for my life is everything.
When you were dealing with the injuries, Khabib, the 2 years away, the knee and all that stuff, was there ever a point where you thought the dream of becoming a UFC champion would not be realized, where you were just dealing with too much bad luck? Did you ever have to come to terms with that, or did you always believe that this would come?
Yes, of course, I believe. That's why I keep working, keep going. When first time I met my brother Ali, and we, like 3 years ago, when I had surgery, when I living in Vegas, like almost half year, and make recovery. Like, this is like very, very hard time for me, And now we're here, we're fighting for the belt. This is like my dream is come true. And this Saturday, I'm gonna take this, inshallah. This is not only for me. This is for my all fans around the world. Like 1.4 billion Muslim people who follow me, who support me. This like almost 500 million people, like former USSR country, like all my friends around the world. Then like I have like crazy almost 2 billion fans, and I believe I can do this. And with God, I'm gonna do this Saturday.
If you win on Saturday and get that belt, will you consider that the real belt? Sometimes we see people win the interim title and they don't put it around their waist. They want nothing to do with it. How will you react when you get the belt?
I don't think about belt. This is interim or real belt because, people knows who is home. People know. And Conor fight one time in UFC in lightweight, and he tapped a lot of time. And this Saturday, inshallah, when I become undefeated like the champion of the world, I don't think he can change something. Only way he have to fight with me, but I don't believe this.
Has the UFC told you that if you win this fight, you will get him? Because Dana White said recently his next fight will be an MMA fight. Have they told you what the plans are?
No, I don't talk about this with nobody because I focus with Tony Ferguson.
Okay.
I focus Tony Ferguson. I don't talk about this, but nobody knows what happened, because maybe they're gonna make money match, like money fight, because this is big money fight. Floyd versus Mayweather, Floyd versus McGregor, this is very big fight, but nobody knows what happened. I'm focused on the Tony. I'm focused. I don't think about like other fights.
Not to get too political, Khabib, but I feel compelled to ask, since you mentioned that you're very proud to be Muslim, I know that you are very proud. Do you feel uncomfortable with what's going on in the United States with regards to your people, with regards to the president? You know, I don't think that your father's situation has anything to do with it, since you said it happened before Donald Trump became president. But do you feel uncomfortable being a Muslim in the United States right now?
Ariel, I am professional athlete. I'm not politics. I don't want to talk about this. Please.
Okay, fair enough. What about this comment that Fedor Emelianenko told me a couple of weeks ago on this show? He said that he's not so sure if the UFC wants you to become a champion. Did you hear this? And if so, what do you think he meant by that?
I don't know. Maybe, but if UFC don't want to become champion, why they give him title?
Yeah.
Before UFC don't give me title, because I think because this is my wrong, because I have 3 surgery in a row. That's why. But a little bit agree with him, but not too much. Not too much.
Which part do you agree with?
I agree with him, like, but in UFC 205, I supposed to fight for the title. But they make money fight. I understand, because this is business.
Right.
Maybe that's why. But other things, I think everything is deserved.
Okay.
I have injury because because I broke my leg. I broke my ribs. No, not UFC.
Right.
That's why. But UFC 205, 100%. I supposed to fight title, and I deserve. But they make this fight. This is business. Everybody understands. Money fight, business fight. Like that's why I say, okay, you're gonna make this fight. Okay, I wanna fight with these guys. Same card, and UFC give me this fight. But I wanna say thank you for Dana. I wanna say thank you, like UFC, everybody, because these guys make my name big. These guys promote me. I know Dana is not perfect. Sometimes he's bullshit, but he put this MMA to another level.
Right.
This sport. And that's why I want to say thank you.
Do you think that if you win this fight, your next fight will be in Russia?
I hope, but I think 50-50.
Okay.
I don't know. This is up to. I think this is up to Conor.
Oh, okay. 2 last quick things for you.
If you say, hey, I want to go. If you say, hey, I want to go to the Russia and fight with Khabib, of course you're gonna make this. But if you say, hey, I want to fight in New York or Vegas or Ireland, everybody follow him. You know this.
Right. 2 last quick things for you, Khabib, and I really appreciate the time once again. Ferguson keeps saying that he wants to take you into the deep waters, that he could finish you early, but he's going to make this go a little longer. And you've never been past the 15-minute mark. You've never fought, in the 4th round or 5th round. Do you want to go longer with him as well? Are you thinking the same thing, or would you prefer just to get this over with as quickly as possible?
I think he just trash talking. And I don't know. Nobody make me tap. Nobody make me quit. Nobody. I don't understand what you're talking about my condition. But you guys watch my fights when I fight 3 rounds, like last fight. When I fight almost 3 rounds. What do you think? If I have 4 and 5 rounds, I can fight. Of course, I can fight. I can keep going. When I fight with Dos Anjos, I'm not tired.
Right.
When I fight with him, I can fight more 2 rounds. This is about your mental. I know I have to fight this Saturday 5 rounds, and I'm gonna do this, or maybe I'm gonna finish him. But I don't think about which round I'm gonna finish him, what I'm other stuff. I know I have tough opponent, I have tough matchup, I have fight for the title, and I'm gonna do everything for victory, for take this belt.
Okay, here's the biggest question last. Your manager, Ali Abdelaziz, tells me that you were there when he submitted Daniel Cormier at AKA. Is this true? Because I don't believe it.
It's true.
Hey.
What happened inside the gym, we have to put inside the gym, right?
What do you mean? He said
never
that
lie,
Yes.
Now I cannot lie, yes.
It's true?
I did.
Cormier tapped?
But I don't know. Hey, I don't know how this guy's serious wrestling, but I see how he tapped. I see how he tapped. He choking.
Arm triangle choke?
This is not like yes, arm triangle choke, yes. But this is sorry about this. I don't talk about what happened inside the gym. This is Ali job. But
Wow.
I have to say,
There's a big problem now.
sometimes, I don't know what problem, but this is not my job. Ariel. Tell him this is not my job.
Okay, so who's
Everybody
going?
know now. This is Mexican. Everybody know that.
Who's going to corner you, Khabib?
Huh?
Who's going to corner you on Saturday?
My corner Javier Mendes, Islam here, Abu Bakr, my brother, and one more my brother, Magomed, and former combat sambo world champion, and 5 guys, and Ali with me. I have 5 guys, and but I don't care about this because when cage close inside the cage, only me and Tony Ferguson. I think about this. But corner is very important too sometimes.
Sure. Well, because everyone's freaking out about your dad not being here, so I want to make it clear that he wasn't there in New York, and you fought with him multiple times. You fought multiple times without him in your corner as well, right? So this is not as big of a deal as it's being currently made right now, because everyone's talking about it.
No. I don't know why everybody talk about him now, because I fight here like 8 times. Last 5 years, I fight without my father.
Right.
But he's with me. He's in my heart all the time.
Khabib, I appreciate it very much. I wish you nothing but the best on Saturday. I can't wait to witness it in person. And again, thank you so much for squeezing us in during your hectic travel day. It means a lot to us. We really appreciate it. Loyalty, my friend. It's all about loyalty, right?
Number 1, loyal.
Yes.
Loyal. Second, stay humble.
Exactly. Salam alaikum.
You're loyal.
Alex.
There he is, Khabib Nurmagomedov. Will he be the interim champion come Saturday night? We shall find out. I cannot wait for this. And, it's hard to argue against him. One of the greatest lightweight title fights in UFC history, if not the greatest, right? I mean, there have been some good ones, but this one, as far as their resumes, their current winning streaks, what they've done, the dynamic, the styles matchup, it's a lot of fun. It really is.